Jimmy, it is nice to see you. We'll get started right here. We have watched your career blossom here at the University of Miami. You've done Miami a lot of pride watching your career, seeing you again with the Saints somehow. We were talking about the revolutionizing of the position, so we'll talk to you about that in a second because you must marvel at Kelsey and Gronk the same way that we do. But you're joining us right now from what looks like a boat, and you've been on a boat for about 15 straight days, right? So can you tell me what it is that you guys I think Billy Gill back there tends to question these things. What is a difficult, rugged boat ride? Yeah, well,
that's unfair to
do
Billy.
have this in your past.
Billy, historically, you say these feats of crossing the ocean aren't that rugged because the boats are, they're J.J. Watt's cabin. Like it's a luxury liner, and that Jimmy Graham's not actually doing something that's hard. You think that's unreasonable skepticism for me?
I said no such thing about Jimmy.
All right.
Graham.
Well, anyway.
He waits till Jimmy's off the air.
Exactly right. I mean, Jimmy, honestly, if we're going to cross the ocean, just hop on a plane.
All right,
it's a lot easier.
Jimmy, tell us, why did you decide to cross the Arctic Ocean? Thank you for joining us. And how did
That's not the boat you cross on, right, Jimmy, though? Because that's, come on. I could do that.
It's a yacht.
No, one, thank you for having me. And two, this is my sailboat. So eventually, this is the practice boat. I eventually, later in life, plan to sail around the world, but that'll be more of a carbon fiber boat with a lot more speed. What we're doing is going to be in a 30-foot boat. That's an open ocean racer, so it has these two small cabins, and it's incredibly exposed when you're out there rowing, which is going to be obviously very different because the average temperatures, even in the summer, there will be in the 30s. The water will be basically right above freezing. So, it definitely has its difficulties.
Well, but explain this part to me, because why seek this misery, right? You have a very comfortable life. This is, no matter how much we can question what you're doing, you're choosing 15 grueling days. Why?
Well, it first started at a pub in Cambridge. One of my really close friends, Andrew Trope, he's been a Navy SEAL for 23 years. I believe he's been deployed 17 times, and it's always been a life goal of his to cross an ocean. So, we were throwing back a few, and that's when it all kind of started. And then we were approached by Hannah and her husband about this opportunity. And for me, it's everybody has their own reasons to do this. I'm the type of person, I love to push myself. I love new experiences. I love to learn. But for me, the biggest part about this, besides doing it with one of my best friends, is the charities that are going to be involved, that we're going to be donating to as we row and raise money. One of them is called the Covenant House in New Orleans, and I think it houses annually and feeds 650 kids. And for me, I spent some time in some government facilities, and I had a very interesting childhood, and I always look back and wish somebody was rowing for me, and so really for me, that's what's important about this is the cause, and really to show these kids that anything is possible. I myself was right there where they were, and if you believe it and dream it and work as hard as you can, then you can achieve it. So that's one of the biggest things and one of the reasons why I'm doing it.
Okay, and because this is so personal to you, you're choosing to go well outside the comforts of your life. You've arrived at great success. So you're doing this because this cause means something to you. And I'll ask you in a moment about raised by government. What does that mean? What are you rowing for here? But can you tell me the parts of this that you most fear, that people don't understand, how grueling it is to actually cross an ocean for 15 days in a rowboat, even if it's the smallest of the oceans, the Arctic Ocean? What you're choosing to do is dangerous, and also there are parts of this that would scare me and I would not do, no matter what the science is and no matter what storm tracking is.
Are you saying do it in a real ocean?
No.
You sound like you're ocean shaming him, to be
I'm
honest.
saying it's the only one that can be crossed this way in a boat of this size, I think. I think any other way would make it very hard, even harder, correct?
Well, it brings its own challenges. They do race across the Atlantic. They do race across the Pacific. Depending on how this goes, and if we end up securing a couple of world records, then we might end up doing a campaign to do an open ocean race in the Pacific, which the reason why that's very difficult is that is between 40 to 50 days it takes to do that. So there is no I mean, you can track weather, but inevitably you're going to be hit by some type of front. For us, this brings its own issues because of how treacherous that ocean is. We're going to be leaving through the fjords at the top of Norway, and then we're going to basically be heading to a glacier island. And for us, obviously, weather, cold, and really just the toll that it takes on your body. You know, myself, I'll burn between 8 to 10,000 calories a day. And so, you know, feeding the beast is definitely going to be number one, but also the sleep deprivation. We only get 2 hours off from rowing, so you get about 90 minutes of sleep at a time, and then you're back rowing again for 2 hours. So it's very difficult in many ways, and obviously very scary. You know, we will train in the Gulf around some of the oil rigs out of New Orleans, and then we're going to bring the boat down here to Miami, and then we're going to go to the Bahamas and train as well in a couple days. So we have to get a lot of certifications and do a lot, raise some money for sponsors as it is to accomplish this, because it is very expensive to do this as far as permitting and the boat itself and everything that goes into attempting something like this. But yeah, it's definitely going to be brutal, especially for someone like myself. I'm the only one on the team that's never rowed before, so I have a lot to learn in a very short time.
Jimmy, what is the diet, the 8,000 calorie a day diet? I suspect it's pretty specific.
Yeah, well, it's dehydrated food, so we'll be warming food up. You know, it's almost like astronaut food. So we'll be warming food up, and we have a basically a water maker on board, so we can turn salt into fresh water. That'll be one of my jobs, is being able to fix that if there's any issues. Obviously, if we can't produce water, then we will have to get, you know, picked up and rescued. So, and obviously, I'm lead navigator and comms. So, you know, keeping a clear line of communication with our weather team and with our land team to make sure that we stay away from something really, really big. But in case we do get hit by a storm, we will put out a drone chute, which basically is a parachute under the water to basically slow you down and also keep you in the right direction so that the boat won't constantly flip over.
Jimmy, this doesn't seem fun. It seems like torture. It seems like a lot of work. How about just a little walkathon, maybe a 5K, something like that, you know?
Well, I mean, I just did 100 miles for cancer on Saturday on my bike. So, you know, for me, it's
I did that too.
No!
He deserved it.
No, he doesn't
Jimmy
deserve
it.
that.
He
He did a nice thing.
I know.
Yeah, well, it was for cancer for the DCC. So we raised a lot of money. I believe we raised in the 50s or $60 million for the University of Miami Health
Jimmy, that's
Cancer Institute.
Jimmy, ridiculous.
Awesome.
You are
5K,
an American hero choosing unpleasantness because it's the right thing to do. I need people to understand just how difficult this is, that you're choosing to do this ridiculous thing. What is sleep going to be like in stormy seas? How bad is it going to be that the boat's always going to feel like it's capsizing? How bad is it going to be that you're going to sleep 90 minutes a day, if maybe, and food's going to be hard to eat because the seas aren't going to ever be calm?
Yeah, well, I mean, we plan to do a lot of obviously testing on sleep, most likely also blood work before and after. We might pair with the Navy SEAL Foundation and try to track all of these things, or there are some other companies that have been reaching out to try and track our overall health through all this. Obviously, we'll be sleep deprived. You know, with that comes hallucinations. Also, we're going to be working extremely hard, rowing 12 hours a day, each one of us, and in the cold. So we're going to burn even more calories. So you know, figuring out who we are and what we need and how hard we can push ourselves individually is going to be a thing. And then it's obviously an amazing opportunity for teamwork. And we're going to be very close because there's no bathroom. It's a carbon fiber bucket.
Oh no!
So we're going to get to know each other pretty well.
Oh no! Oh no!
So yeah, I mean, this is about as extreme as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely believe that once I do this, and once we accomplish this great goal for a great cause, I think sailing around the world, for me, it'll make it a lot easier in a luxury yacht with bathrooms and with a cabin and with cover. So, and where we sleep, there's two individual pods, one at the bow, one at the stern. and they're not very big. So I got to figure out a way to get comfortable in that. I'll be where the nav station will be. So I think that one's a little bigger, but it's got all the comms, so it gets a little hot in there. But heat is probably going to help since it'll be so cold.
Jimmy, obviously, we all hope it doesn't come to this, but have you guys given any thought to, let's say something goes wrong?
Mm-hmm.
You're out there, you get marooned, none of these, things that you send out there to get rescued come.
This is dark.
Now, I'm just,
I'm
just asking.
Wants to make sure he has a plan.
Yeah,
That's
do
all.
you
Right.
look around at your crew with you and say, that's the one we can.
Larry Zonka got lost at the Bering Sea. You football players, you don't have to do these things. You're choosing something that is life risking. And Billy's asking, why are you doing that?
No,
He's asking who he eats.
I'm asking,
whose
if you
life
look around
means the least.
Yeah,
Right.
based on, response, you're a navigator. That seems important. There's a bunch of rowers. Maybe you lose a third rower. And, who do you base who you eat based on responsibility, based on body composition? How do you choose?
Draw lots.
No, I mean, we will definitely be in contact with the Norwegian government for any type of emergency situation. They understand those waters, obviously, very treacherous, and they have the ability to come in with helicopters. But this is unassisted. So because of a world record, we can't have a boat follow us. We will be by ourselves. And obviously communicating with our comms, our weather, and our trend navigator is going to be very important. But no one's going to be eaten ever.
Jimmy, we're
just
just saying.
Right, we're just saying.
Don't speak in absolute.
You got to be
but no,
prepared.
Norwegian
No,
government
no,
shuts down.
Just start looking,
right.
exactly.
But Jimmy, correct me, please. I feel like this is a bit flippant about life, isn't it? You're doing this for a cause because you are doing something that you know is very risky. It's hard to do. One of the reasons you're doing it is because it's hard to do, but it's not because you don't understand the risk. Hell, Jimmy, I'm listening to you and I'm like, I wouldn't want to be that cold and wet for 15 days. Never mind everything else.
I'm cold in here.
I don't.
He did play at Soldier Field.
and Green Bay.
Frozen
It's one of the
tundra.
things where, it's one of the things where I obviously live in Miami. I can't stand the cold, so that's probably going to be the most brutal part for me. But the reason why I'm doing this personally, and the reason why this means so much to me is, the first 18 years of my life, I went through many, many things. And when I turned 18, I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make every dream become a reality. And since I've turned 18 and became a man and had full control of my life, I've pushed myself in every way possible to maximize the life that I do have. I think life is beautiful. I think living in America is beautiful. I think being on this earth is beautiful. So I try to maximize every day. And my life isn't on autopilot. I live on a sailboat. I've got 10 licenses. I run a foundation with a helicopter. I just want to show that same kid that at 12 years old was in this 11 and 12 years old that was dropped off at this facility. That anything's possible, and where I've gone from that point till today, it's almost surreal. And I'm constantly doing more. I'm constantly learning. It's an addiction, learning things and pushing yourself to the absolute limit for me, because for the first 18, I had no control. Things were just happening to me very tragically, being dropped off by everybody who was supposed to take care of me. So now, I have this ability to show all those kids that are in that same situation what's possible, between playing multiple sports through college and pros, and now on this new venture of pushing myself in a sport that I've never been a part of. I've never learned how to row. I hate the cold. For me, it's more about challenging myself and just living every bit of life that I have left to the fullest.
I would like to have a longer conversation with you about the amazing success story that is your life. We will do it the next time because I know you're short on time.
I want to talk about his skin.
What's your routine?
His skincare.
Amazing.
You want to
Yeah.
talk tight ends with him as
Oh,
well.
God, yeah.
But
Talk
Shoulders
his.
all from rowing?
Yes.
You're going to have a bit of a caloric deficit. How are you going to build your body back up? Free weights?
we have a lot of questions, but the last of them,
Moisturize a lot.
the last of them from me though this time is just, can you explain to us, because it obviously means a great deal to you, can you explain to us your formative years that made you value life this way and want to live it to the fullest and be the toughest? How the government failed you, how the government helped you, where are the scars and where is the strength?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that the government failed me. You know, I mean, I was lucky enough at times to be, a military kid. So I lived on a lot of bases. I lived on Fort Bragg. I lived in Germany, and I had the ability to, even though we didn't have money, there are these subsidized programs for military kids to have. But in the end, my father left me at a very young age. My stepfather dropped me off on the side of the road, and so did my mother. So through all those people who gave up on me, and through all the people who didn't believe in me, and all the people who said that, I remember one of my relatives told me when I believe I was 7, that one day you're going to need to learn how to beg for quarters. And so at the age of 37, I'm always sitting here to prove them wrong, and really just to prove to myself, what I can do, what I can learn, how far I can push my body. I think I've been given, this talent to be pretty athletic at my size. And so I know that I only have but so much of that true athleticism left. And I'm going to take every ounce of it to try to do something special for others. And then from there, I'll move on to more of kind of mental things to learn and do and push myself.
Good talking to you, Jimmy. We'll catch up again, sir.
Thank you. I'll come to the studio next time. I appreciate you guys having me, and thank you so much for shining a light on this Arctic Challenge 2025. I really appreciate it, and hopefully you guys can come down to the hangar and fly with my foundation. I'll take you guys up in the Huey.
We would love to help you with
And
your
whatever your skincare
story.
routine is.
Yeah.
Bring
please
that.
tell us
Bring some in.
person.
Bring that
And-
too.
Yes, we
as
just-
well.
He'll be the new Jason Taylor. He smells good on top of
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
else.
Well,
You
not
got
after
a little
shitting in
too
a bucket
far.
for 2 months.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Put that on the poll, please. Have
Not
you ever,
after you eat
have you
someone.
ever been friends enough with anybody to share a carbon fibered bucket with? That's deeply unpleasant. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you so much.
I think I did that at Doak after like 7 Miller Lights.
I've done it at a dead show.
Yeah.